first few were Gary Vee, the hustle bustle boy, but I'm not too much into the hustle and like how he's telling you to work 24/7, you know, and like hustle for everything. And I do believe in a little bit of more like flow, but when I see that I resist something, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna listen to it and like see how it, you know, like what's there has to be something, right? So super amazing things that I learned on his, like from his podcast. I still haven't explored too much. Like I've got a LinkedIn profile, and I don't think for like retreats or yoga or stuff like that I would find, not that I wouldn't find people on LinkedIn, but that it would be a platform where to advertise. I think it's more like business, but that's what they're doing. And a few other super big things that I really noticed that he mentioned, and he said like voice is the future. And I just got an iPhone. I've been on Android forever, and I love Siri because when driving it's so easy. And you know, and he's saying about the what's the Alexa for the home, and that's the future. If Alexa is not like delivering you food yet, then you know, like that's how it's gonna be. But then you also have to think of, okay, Amazon is gonna have, you know, the first choice of whatever. I'm like, okay, I want apples, like Alexa deliver apples, and you know, the apples are gonna be delivered from wherever Amazon wants them to be delivered. So it's super, super interesting when you twist in that kind of direction. And also about languages, which I do believe that, you know, we're gonna have tools where you just have something in your ear and it's gonna translate, and the same, like the other person is gonna have that, and we won't need to learn languages, which I love languages. And I think it's a super interesting way to, like, how you can switch your perception, because each new language, I know that I switched a lot when I started, like when I moved my life just into English, because I also started living in a very different environment, which was I went to England when I was 19, and it was a time when I started to earn more, and like I wasn't so much poverty that I was back home in Latvia, and like it switched that way. And I know the language also changed, so there was a lot. So yeah, I really love it. And then when I started learning Spanish, it's super cute because I would learn Spanish, like I started, you know, like with songs and translating, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cheesy, sleazy, kind of like romantic. And we were talking with my Spanish teacher the other week that, you know, when it comes to like and love, it's like, oh, it's not like my fault, it's like your fault. And it's like in the language, like it's not like I'm having these emotions, like you're making me feel this way, it's like your fault that I like you. It's super cute, but it also explains a lot, like how people act, react, and like how they interact. So love languages, and that would be a shame that we don't have that part of, like, you know, learning them. What else was there in Gary Vee? I don't remember now, but I was discussing this one with my student who's into marketing a lot, and she's in Latvia, and then, you know, like TV and TV ads is still super, super big, which I don't like, which Gary was like, nah, like TV is like old school and it's like not working anymore. So super interesting also, like place wise, like, you know, like where you are, how you advertise, and like how you can reach your customers and stuff like that. And then I listened to Shaman Durek from Marketing to Shaman, and he was just talking about these amazing realms of different realities, and especially of the realms of darkness. And that's something that I've been totally kind of exploring, and not I wouldn't say working on. It's just been like, it's just been coming at me. I've been having these weird, like overwhelmingly sad, I wouldn't say even emotions, but it would be like, you know, suddenly this, like, seriously, like imagine a huge cloud of sadness coming over you and just like wrapping you in, and you just start like my reactions most of the time crying. And there isn't, like, at the beginning I would say, like, there's a resistance. I would be like, oh, I could just put on some, you know, like party music, or I could just like meditate, or I could do this or that. But there's a part of me which is like, I just want to see what happens, and it feels like a wave or a cloud which goes through me, and I know for sure it's not me, it's not mine. It goes through, it goes away, and I go and have a cup of tea, and I'm fine. And it's weird as fuck. I've been a lot alone, like since January when I moved to Florida. And I don't, like, I think it's a part of that as well, like being alone. Because when I was in Hanoi, I remember really well, it wasn't like clouds of sadness, but similar like emotional waves when you like realize, okay, you know what, I'm alone. I'm not talking about lonely, but you experience you're alone, and you really like experience within yourself, like, yeah, I was born alone, I'm gonna die alone, and if I don't make this relationship with myself, I'm like, I have to, not the loneliness, but alone. It's like you're always sort of alone. So you have to build something around that, instead of having a constant distraction with somebody filling that place. So it's been a lot there lately, and it's not that sadness where you want to be like, oh my gosh, like I want to just like my friend here and like hugging me and like, oh, this person hasn't called me. It's not that. It's like, okay, this is the truth. Like that's the truth, and then it goes away, and you know, a wave of bliss can come, and that was the other thing that I really kind of learned through it, that you know what, that sadness I allowed to actually travel through me, but then the love, or the other part, which is like these super amazing high emotions, I keep them for a shorter period of time. I think I don't like, I'd be like, you know, like sitting in meditation, and suddenly I would say like the same, like the cloud of gratitude or like a bliss just comes over and like covers, and I just feel like, oh my god, I love these waves, I love the trees, I love the birds, I love like every single sound, and like I'm so grateful for this and that, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it feels amazing. But I wouldn't let it, like, sadness kind of is like overwhelming, and I think I let it in more deeper than I've been allowing myself to experience the bliss. So it's super interesting, these learning, just for me personally, it's super interesting. It's like, why do I let the like these, I don't want to call them low emotions, but like, why don't I allow myself like to be high and on the, you know, the lit train or whatever, like longer. So yeah, and then yeah, Shaman Durek was talking a lot about these, and it was just overwhelmingly like a lot of information about other realms of reality, which is like, oh my gosh, like from one podcast to another, totally different, and I totally love that experience. And I'm listening to reggaeton and approaching Panama City, where we're staying for a night, and then New Orleans tomorrow, which I think is gonna be awesome.